Hello and welcome to episode 6 of deValiante Plays As We Know It by Jaime Scribbles Games. This visual novel was part of Ichio's bundle for racial justice and equality. This visual novel contains strong language and mature themes that may not be suitable for all audiences. Discretion is advised. Now, without further ado, let's get started. I got up and headed to grab a coffee before work because it is just like every other day in my life. It was just another day on the security force. I swept, dusted, and sorted through recycling, shredding anything that required it. Same old, same old. Alright, work was over, and it's time to go watch the Trevor and Brian show. Actually, no, that's right. I promised I would roll the dice. Because the dice hate me. Ha! 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 Trevor and Brian show! Trevor and Brian show! It's Trevor! The library was really busy tonight. I saw Trevor surrounded by children and looking overwhelmed. I glanced around, but I didn't see Brian anywhere. I had never seen so many kids in one place. I had no idea why they were all here now. What's going on? Trevor grimaced, but actually seemed relieved to see me. Miss Miller thought it would be good to have a story time. I suppose she assumed I would cooperate. Alright. Guess who can't talk after dinner? I almost felt bad for him. Kids were pushing large picture books into his hands and tugging at his shirt. Some books fell from the shelves, followed by a small voice saying oops, and I could see Trevor grinding his teeth. I'll help Trevor. I used to work with kids. With a heavy sigh, I decided to help Trevor out. I grabbed one of the books that had been shoved at him and got the kids to follow me. I took him to the back and read through several books until parents began to filter in and take their kids home. When they were finally gone, I leaned back and closed my eyes. That had been exhausting. They're gone. I know. You can go now, too. I opened my eyes, but there wasn't any cruelty in his face. You're welcome, Trevor. Yeah, thanks. Why wasn't Brian here? This seems like something he'd love to do. Trevor shrugged and walked away, ending the conversation. With him gone, I had nothing left to do. I headed home without a book. I was pretty tired anyway. Alright, grabbing coffee before work. This is getting really tedious. Something needs to happen. I checked the board. I was assigned to patrol. This meant I had to walk around and create a presence or whatever. I looked up and I looked at what my assigned route was and grabbed my gear. As I walked through the halls, I was stopped by almost everyone. They smiled, they waved. It was unnerving. I expected people to be ducking back into their homes or at least avoiding eye contact. So strange. I thought people would react differently to me when I was wearing the security force uniform. And they were, but not in the way I had thought they would. I tested their trust by taking the baton in my hand, but even then, no one seemed afraid. An older man even mimicked me with his walking cane as if in comradeship? That's supposed to be camaraderie? Work was over and I had some time to kill. Brian and Trevor show. Brian and Trevor show. Brian and Trevor show. Keep clicking the wrong die. Brian and Trevor show. Yes! Okay. Nothing particularly interesting was going on in the library today. There were a few things I could do. Let's see what Trevor's up to. Hey, Brian's back. Hey guys, what's new? We got 2 new books in today. Really? That's a big deal. They aren't ready to be checked out yet. He wants to clean them up and repair them a bit. They won't last long if I don't reinforce the bindings. What are they? What kind of books, I mean? One is a really, really old children's book. The other is some kind of thriller, I think. I'll know for sure once I've finished with them. Still, new books. That's great. Oh, come on. Don't act so surprised. What do you mean? Brian, it's not a bad thing. Don't look at me like that. Diva, we're friends here, right? I mean, I don't have any stars for you, so how do I know? Not really. Yeah, we are. So then tell us what's going on between your mom and the mayor. She's his assistant or whatever? That isn't what he means. What exactly do you think is going on between them? I guess that means the rumors aren't true. Unless Camila likes to keep secrets from her daughter. What rumors? That the mayor and Camila are becoming close? Like, really close? I collared at him. I hadn't heard the rumors. But I wasn't an idiot. I knew Mom had a bit of a crush on him. Could it be mutual? What would that have to do with the books? The mayor added books as an item of desire for the scavengers and couriers. The mayor added books as an item of desire for the scavengers and couriers. Before they weren't actively looking for them, but now they are. Rumor has it, the change of heart is because of Camila. I shuddered. So, is there anything going on with the mayor and your mom? Anything at all? Not that I know of. I sighed and made excuses so I could leave. I keep doing that. Alright. Another day, another dollar. It was just another day in the security force. I filed old reports and cycled out the ones that were too old to be addressed in the future. Same old, same old. Oh my god, we are repeating. Just, Thing is, like, this is week 4. This is, like, the second week where we've had nothing to do during the day. I guess, like, even... like, police officers don't have something to do every single day, but still, that's the point. The point is that this is so repetitive. And it's like, I don't need to know what I did during the day if I did nothing. You know? Alright. 6. I guess we're gonna go talk to, what's-her-face? Sam. As I walked in, I heard a loud and familiar laugh. Oh. I looked over and saw Iris with one hand on Vince's arm and the other on her hip. Vince seemed nervous and was glancing around the room. Darling, I just feel so much safer that you're the one in charge of protecting us. Yeah, that's, my job. Why don't you let me buy you a drink, I'm working, Iris. I can't. Oh, come on. The boss don't have to know. She winked at him. Save your boss? No. Alright, what did the dice say? 2. Interrupt. Vince, sir, you're needed elsewhere. Oh, come on now. Aren't you ever free, honey? Iris pouted and pushed at Vince's arm. Sorry, Iris, another time. He made a hasty exit, shooting me a wordless thanks. Phew. Iris pouted and turned away to head back towards the bar. As she walked away, I heard her swear. Oh, shoot. All the good men in this play ain't got a lick of sense. I tried to smile and approached her. I'm sure there is someone here who would just adore your company. Oh, aren't you just as sweet as can be? Let me buy you a drink. Alright, me. Yes, you. Am I looking at anyone else right now, sugar? Oh, thanks. She rested her chin on her hand and sighed dramatically. You got yourself someone special. Not really. You're young. You'll find someone soon. I just know it. It's not something I've really thought about. Life's too short to spend it alone, honey. Go out and find you some lovin' to make the night something to look forward to. I nodded. I wasn't sure how to respond. Her words were getting a bit slurred as she drank, and her mood was falling. Why don't I walk you home, Iris? You baby doll, go on. Don't worry about me. I'll find my way home. She scrunched up her nose and then discreetly motioned with her eyes toward a man who just stepped into the bar. I nodded and said a farewell and left. I got up and headed to grab coffee before work, because that's all I ever do. We were a bit short-staffed because some kind of stomach bug going around, so I ran around like crazy. We all did. We were all just trying to pick up the slack. The funny thing about, like, things like this, like bunkers, like, if someone catches one thing and it will spread to the entirety of the complex. Like, the only way to, like, not get sick is if, like, you are, like, you just, like, you have killed all of the germs and hermetically sealed literally everything. So if, like, one person comes in from the outside, or if someone, like, like, the food goes bad or something like that, or it's just, it's downhill. It is downhill from there. Like, even like your food, if you don't prepare it properly, or if you don't grow it properly, like there was like that whole romaine lettuce recall how many ever years back that just like sent a wave of E. coli across the country. And it, like, if that is your only food supply and people can't eat roughage like that for like however long it takes to get rid of the E. coli in it, you're screwed. So the fact that some of the people had a stomach bug and not all of the people is like a huge, like, miracle that it didn't get passed to literally everyone, because it should get passed to literally everyone, because you're just recycling the air inside the compound. Like, yeah. Luckily, I hadn't caught it. Every now and then I glanced nervously at the paperwork that was starting to pile up higher and higher. It would be there, waiting. Okay. Alright. Trevor and Brian show? Aw. I guess I have to go to the gym. Nothing particularly interesting was going on at the gym today. There were a few things I could do. Oh, a little Tabby. Let's hang out with Tabby. Let's get a start with Tabby. I saw Tabby sitting alone. She was leaning against the wall with her eyes closed. Maybe she was taking a nap? As I approached Tabby, her eyes opened and she looked over at me. What? This is a strange place to take a nap. She shrugged her shoulders and crossed her arms. Do you hang out here a lot? I guess. I like to come here and work out. Your dad's got a pretty hard rule about fitness for his security officers. I know. You came here from the surface, right? It dawned on me that Tabby was probably born here. We know that! We were told that. Whatever. Yeah, does sand still shake out in my hair? I ran a hand through my hair and made a show of looking for sand. A little white might actually have come out. Tabby smiled. No. What's it like up there? My dad won't tell me. He won't tell you? She sighed and rolled her eyes. He says it doesn't matter because I'll never go there. Then people like you come here, and I don't know why people can't go back up there. Unless they're bad? I blinked as she kept attempting to rationalize it. Were you bad but then good, so they let you come back? I was born up there. Were your parents bad? No, at least I don't think so. Most people come from the surface. Cities like these are hard to come by. Really? Yeah. She nodded. I wasn't sure what it would be like to grow up down here. She really had no idea what it was like on the surface. I couldn't help but wonder what that was like. Okay, you didn't look like you had been exiled for something. I hope I never get exiled. Foreshadowing! Tabby smiled at me shyly. I'll tell my nan not to exile you, no matter what, if you play ball with me. Ball? Yeah, it's a game. I'll show you how to play. She stood up and grabbed a small, heavy ball. She then proceeded to teach me the weird set of rules involving catching and throwing the ball. I did not understand, but that only seemed to amuse her. Time for bed. Grabbing my daily coffee, going back to the security office, working in the armory, rereading recycled tags. Same old, same old. Alright, what do we get now? Library, gym, Icarus. Give me a good one. One, library, library, library. Hey, it's Micah. When I walked into the library, I saw Micah pondering a display at the table. Hey, Micah. Diva, how wonderful to run into you here. Perhaps you could help me make a decision. Oh, yeah? I like how close you got to him. Do you have any recommendations? I wanted to read something a bit moody, maybe even dark. I glanced over the shelves. Ooh. That's a good... I would probably go for horror just because that's the kind of person I am. But maybe he would enjoy a drama novel. But I rolled for a horror, so... I recommend Zombie Holmes and the Giant Crabs. Thanks for the assistance. If you ever need a reading suggestion from me, I would be happy to reciprocate. Sure. So, what are you in the mood to read? Oh, so what are you in the mood to read? What did the dice say? Or, oh, then I suggest Pinewood Island. That actually sounds like something that's like in my super secret story idea documents. Do you come here often? I really wish they were able to expand their selection. Sometimes, though, I know what you mean. Perhaps. He cleared his throat and looked down at his feet. Oh, are you going to ask me on a date? I have a small collection of books. You may know this. If you'd like to come see them one day, maybe borrow one. They're very precious to me, but I trust you. God, you're blushing so hard that your skin lightened. Oh, that sounds cool. He smiled sheepishly and then cleared his throat again. Excuse me, I should get going. It was nice seeing you. He backed up and almost ran into a shelf. He reached out to study it, gave me another smile, and walked over to Trevor to borrow the book I had suggested. Once I had made my own selection, I headed home. There wasn't any work to be done today, so maybe I could try to see someone. I mean, we're getting really close with Micah. But what did the dice say? 1, Micah. We haven't talked to Jude in a long time, though. The dice said Micah. Uh-oh. I wandered into the library and saw Micah arguing with Trevor. I stopped to watch. I will not tell the mayor to send more couriers out for books, if the need is so great. Look, I'm just the messenger. If he wants them so badly, we'll have to approach me personally. And unlike some... Look, they're rare. You know that as well as anyone else here. Why are you being so selfish? Micah, selfish? I wouldn't think to describe him like that. They are mine, and I will not hand them over to be used as paperweights or... Right. Got it. Micah took a breath and turned around sharply, almost running into me. His eyes widened a bit, and he took another breath. Pardon me, Diva. I'm afraid I'm not in a very sociable mood. I opened my mouth to say what? I had no idea. He left before I could attempt anything, though. Fucking hell. What was all that about? Guy's got a nice little collection of books, and the mayor wants him to donate them to the library. They've been fighting over it forever. They're his books. Like, just because we all live in like a copacetic community doesn't necessarily mean that everything that one person owns belongs to the community. Like, it's not necessarily how it works. I just realized that her tank top is like see-through on the bottom, because like you can see the shape of her, like you can see like the top of her pants or her leggings or whatever, and you can see her belly button, but then you can like over on the side you can see like where her the outline of her body. Is she wearing a bra? I can't tell. She's either wearing a, like, I can see like this V shape here, but I don't know if that's shading or not. Yeah. Sorry, I was like super distracted. Anyway, yeah, Micah shouldn't have to hand them over. They belong to him. Why should he have to just hand them over like that? Well, it's between him and the mayor. I really wish they would keep me out of it. Good man, Trevor. I shrugged and looked for a book to borrow. Okay, D10 time 2. Comedy. I grabbed XOXO, Tales of Jerks and Love, and left. Micah. Micah was in the hallway, pacing slightly. When he saw me, he stopped and approached. Diva, I just wanted to apologize. I may have been short with you, and that wasn't fair of me. It's all right. What was all that about? I mean, you just found out. It would be interesting to hear Micah's side of the story. I have a small... I know this. Some were gifts. They're important to me, but the mayor would have them ripped from me. I'm aware that the mayor would like to add to the library, but if he wishes to do that, then he should send couriers out, not force them from Camden citizens with some kind of propaganda-inspired guilt trip. He took a slow, deep breath. Well, he can't make you hand them over, can he? Not if he wants to maintain that illusion of freedom he has cultivated. He smiled at me sheepishly. Please ignore my rantings. I tend to get lost in my own thoughts. It's fine. I can see you're very passionate about your books. I suppose I am. I smiled, and then we fell into an awkward silence. I didn't know what else to say, and Micah still seemed a little on edge. So, I've got to head back home. Right. It was a pleasure to see you again. I nodded, not sure how to respond other than wave and leave. Just bye. A groan from the bathroom woke me up. I leaned up and glanced around, trying to shake the fuzziness of sleep. Mom? Another groan answered me. She was in the bathroom. I thought the bug had almost completely run its course through the community, but Mom must have gotten it last. She was starting to feel really thankful that I hadn't caught it. I was starting to feel really thankful that I hadn't caught it. You all right in there? The door cracked just wide enough for Mom's hand to poke through and point at the table. Tell Rick I'm sick, please. I wrote him a note. Make sure he gets it, okay, honey? Sure, Mom, but maybe I should stay home and... No, I'd rather you didn't. Just go and give Rick my note. She shut the door before I could argue. Obviously, she would hear me through the door, but I got the message. I grabbed the note. It was folded and taped, and my mother's handwriting graced the front. She had only written Rick, and it made me sigh. I wasn't sure she should be openly casual with the mayor, but I guess there was no stopping her now. I got dressed and grabbed the note and headed out the door. I was still early, so the hallways weren't too crowded. The note felt heavy in my hands, and I felt awkward walking around with it. What had my mom even written down on it? I'll open it. It had to be boredom, but I felt very compelled to read it. Maybe it would give me insight to what was going on between her and the mayor. It wasn't like it would seem strange for the letter to be sealed a bit sloppily, especially if she was sick. Okay. I want to read it because I'm nosy, but let's see what the dice say. The dice also want to read it because they are also nosy. I had to know. I glanced around, but no one was looking at me. I carefully peeled the tape and opened the letter. Rick, I'm not feeling well. I'm so sorry. But I'll go to you as soon as I'm better. It's just that bug that's been going around. Her name was signed at the bottom. That was it. I resealed the letter and tried not to feel like an idiot. There had been no reason for me to bother with it. When I got to the community center, the doors were open. I spotted the mayor up by the stage, so I headed over to hand him the note. Here, Mr. Mayor, from Mom. I handed him the note. He eyed the tape for a second before opening the letter to read it. Thank you, Diva. Do you think your mother will mind if I come by to... I don't know if that's a good idea. She really isn't feeling well. Right, give her my, He cleared his throat. Let Camila know that I hope she feels better soon, Diva. I will. I backed up and walked back into the crowd. I ignored the few glances that were shot my way. After a few moments, he stood to address the community. I'm happy to announce that the stomach bug that has been going around this week seems to have died down. Despite the discomfort, know that the worst is over, and the illness was not dangerous, except when I go home and I have to take my mother to the clinic because that's how these stories always work. Steps have been taken to prevent this from happening again, and I must continue to ask that if you aren't feeling well, then please confine yourself to your quarters. This will prevent the spread of it. He started to make some general announcements, but some people near the front started to speak up and shout. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but then the mayor responded. Right, I know many of you are still concerned about what happened on the surface. When it is safe, I will send out couriers to gauge the situation. Until then, it is in Camden's best interest to carry on. The people at the front who had been shouting didn't look appeased, but the mayor assured them he would speak to them personally. I was curious about it, but at the same time I wanted to get out of here. I could check on Mom and then make myself scarce while she recovered. I had some time to do something before the day was over. Cool. Trevor and Brian show? No, you have to go to Icarus. I mean, Sam's cool, so. Let's hang out with Sam. As soon as I walked in, I was hit with the shouting of two people arguing in the corner. Sam glanced up at me and shrugged. Two men I didn't recognize were yelling and shoving at each other. They didn't seem drunk, so I wasn't sure what to do. Shouldn't you call someone? I will if I need to. I watched the men for a moment, but I wasn't sure I could relax with them fighting like that. I want to trust Sam, because I don't care if two people get fought, and I also don't want to get involved. So, let's see. Assume that Sam has it handled, according to the dice. I sat down at the bar, and Sam handed me a hard water. Despite her casual attitude, I could see her washing the guys out of the corner of her eye. There was a shout, and one of the men swung at the other. Then the sounds of glass breaking. I looked back to Sam, who had smashed a bottle and began to head for them, shouting. She wielded the broken bottle like a baton. Go, Sam. What followed was quite the scene. The men eventually backed down, unable to fight against Sam's makeshift weapon. Watching them cower away from the short Sam was very amusing. With that finally handled, I tried to relax at the bar with Sam until I was ready to call it a night. Thank you for joining me for episode 6 of As We Know It by Jaime Scribbles Games. Next episode will be out shortly. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment letting me know what you like down below. Please no hate or spoilers, as I'm not above removing those comments and the people who make them. That's all for now, folks, and I'll see you next time.